Many workers are looking at their retirement accounts and wondering, how am I ever going to make it? I've only got $250,000 and I'm 50 years old. I'm so far away from $1 million. How am I ever going to make it? Will they have to work past 70? And yet they read statistics like only 3.2% of Americans reach $1 million. So, how are people retiring on much less? Let's look at some actual numbers here. Let's say, for example, we are got an individual that is 50 years old. So what we do in this channel, we set up spreadsheets and run numbers for people just to see where they might be. So got 250,000 saved up. They're able to save $500 a month. And right now their expenses look like it's about $5,000 a month in current dollars. So what we want to do is go ahead and run the numbers to see where somebody might be in 17 years. They go from age 50 to 67. And what we do on this channel is use the returns for the S&P 500, which stuff has happened for the last 100 years, and we project ahead what similar returns might do for you in the future. So that's the returns we're looking at. So here we got the $250,000, $500 a month. Where is this individual going to be in 17 years? Now, what we do, again, use the returns for the S&P 500, and in the worst case scenario that's happened in the last 100 years, for a 17-year period from age 50 to 67, they would have $627,000. The second worst, using numbers from 1925, have $631,000. And what we like to do in this column is show you what would happen if we kicked out these worst case scenarios, kind of these outliers, and see where you'd be 95% of the time, again using the numbers for the S&P 500 for the last 100 years. Then you have a $701,000. If we actually look at the median for the last 100 years for a 17-year period, you have 1.697, and if we had an absolute best case scenario, you'd have 4.96 million. So that's how this works. If we're looking at somebody 50 years old, how does it look 17 years down the road? If they ran into this worst case scenario and had 627,000 and started retiring, how long would their money last? Now, what money are we looking at? We're looking at somebody $5,000 a month in today's dollars. If we use an inflation rate of 3.2%, over the next 17 years, they're going to need 8,541 to have the same buying power as 5,000. So if they start taking out 8,541, which you can see it right there, they're going to be out of money at age 76. This is the worst case scenario. Second worst, you'd be out of money at age 80. And using this 95% of the time, money would last till age 83 or better. In fact, let's change this to 90% success rate. In other words, 90% of the time, using the numbers, your money would be lasting till age 90. Now, what have we not taken into account here? We've not taken into account Social Security. That's key. Let's say, for example, the average is $2,000 a month. Let's say you're getting that at age 67. Let's see how these numbers all change when you get $2,000 a month from Social Security. Now your money lasts in every scenario except this worst case scenario, and even then it lasts till age 98. See, the problem is people don't take into account what Social Security is going to do. And I know people are wondering about how much Social Security is going to be available for them, but let's just assume they get to $2,000 a month. Now, what happens if we start seeing if they can retire earlier than age 67? Because after all, they'd like to get out maybe at 65. So let's go down through and see how these numbers change as we go down through here. Age 66, money's still lasting 90% of the time, and two worst case scenarios, 87 and 99. How about age 65 when you start taking Medicare? Still lasting 90% of the time. Let's go back up to 95% of the time. What's the success rate? 95% of the time, your money will last till at least age 93. Again, we're using numbers for the last 100 years. Is this $250,000 enough at age 50 for him to go out at age 65? Looks like in 95% of the cases, your money would last till at least age 93. How about age 64? Now it's only lasting until age 79, 95% of the time. But watch what happens if we accept a 90% success rate. Now it's up to 96. See, what happens is if we start running numbers and we panic because of the worst case scenario. But what's happened in the last 100 years? 1% of the time, your money would only last to age 73. 2% of the time, it would only last to age 75. but in 10% of the time you last till age 96, but 90% of the time it lasts till age 96 or better, going out at age 64 when you have 250,000 saved. How about age 63? Now it's getting down there to age 83. How about 62? You really want to go out in 12 years, then you'd have kind of a problem going out 90% of the time. How about if you're happy with an 80% success rate? Now it lasts. See what happens when you kick out some of these worst case scenarios? Nobody knows, of course. You'd have to really monitor what's going on. But what if we go to an 85% success rate? Lasts until age 80. So it looks like it's really key there, about 15 to 20% of the time. Let's just see what the numbers actually show. 83% of the time, your money's lasting until age 86. And 82%, 92. Looks like if you kick out the worst 20% of the time and accept 80% of what's happened in the last 100 years, your money's going to last. You could go out at age 62 and start taking your Social Security then. Now, you're only going to get 70% of what you would have gotten if you waited to take Social Security, because as Social Security grows, this 2,000 that you're getting at age 67, that's going to grow. We're going to grow to COLA of 2.5%, which was this year's COLA. You go that for the next 12 years. If you waited till age 67, which you aren't, you're going out earlier, but that'd be 2690. You're going to get 70% of that. So you're going to get 1883. This shows you what you need from your nest egg, 5,414. And you can see if you took it in the worst case scenario, your money's running out at age 67. Second worst, 69. But 80% of the time, your money's going to be lasting with these kind of amounts. That's what you'd have, 636,000. You start withdrawing this, and your money would last. But what happens is we run numbers and we panic and we think, man, I'm never going to be able to retire. It might not be near as hopeless as you might think, especially if you can wait a couple more years. Let's go back to the 90% success rate. And you're going out at age 74, 63, 83, 64. Look at that. Going out at age 64, which is 14 years from now, with just this amount right here, and your money would last until age 96, 90% of the time. So what I want to show you in this video, it's not as hopeless as you might think. You think, I don't even have near close to $1 million. Looks like you don't really need $1 million. Look at this. If we use this scenario, except in 90% success rate, you'd have $617,000. And when you started withdrawing this right here, your money would last till age 96, 90% of the time. If we go to like age 88, it probably lasts. See, it lasts right there. So don't let these 10 or 12% scare you into thinking, I'm never going to be able to retire. Again, it all depends on what happens in the next 14 years in this case. But that's what we do on this channel. We love to run numbers for people to see. Let them show them that it's not really so hopeless as they might think if they just have this amount at age 50. And we can change any of these numbers. We love to run numbers for people. If you want me to run numbers for you, just put it in the comment section. Just give me the kind of information that I can plug into this spreadsheet and run the numbers for you, and we'll do that for you. We just love doing it. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Please tell people about this channel. Let them know there's a channel out there that will run numbers and show them that maybe it isn't as hopeless as you think. Maybe that's why people are retiring when only 3.2% reach $1 million. People are retiring with a lot less than that. In this case, it looks like you'd be retiring with this kind of money, and your money would last 88% of the time, using numbers, again, for the last 100 years. Please like the video, and thanks so much for watching.